This week, I wanted to focus a little bit of the vlog efforts on what it's actually like as a creator. And I didn't do a very good job, realistically. It turned more into a tutorial, but I am who I am. So I'm going to share it anyways. It's a little bit of a day in the life. It's probably not the most accurate day in the life because you're not seeing me do one entire side of my business. So I'm going to attempt this again in the future and try to do it justice or better. But anyway, this is kind of going to give you an essence of what it's like and also show you my filming setup and breakdown. So hope you enjoy. It's a weird one. So in terms of morning routine, I usually start my day around like 5 a.m. At the latest. And then I will get up, I will go into my office and get some work done, just deep work stuff for about 2 hours till 7. And then at 7 a.m. I go for a walk, and then I'm on the phone with one of my oldest friends. It's about a 3-mile walk, takes about an hour. And then I get back to my house, do my workout, and then I get ready, shower, do makeup, and head back into the office to finish my workday. I like breaking it up like that because I'm most focused in the morning. Like as soon as I wake up, I can power through and get so much accomplished. So I really try not to waste those hours. I'm not perfect, but for the most part, I can, wake up and conquer the world. Then after about 2 hours, that break of like going for a walk and just, getting movement and just breaking it up. It helps me to stay energized, I think, and to continue on. Okay, so finished all my morning routine stuff, and now I'm gonna get filming. I had a really, advanced, I have a simple way of filming and I have a very advanced way of filming, and I'm gonna show you kind of a brief overview of both of them. But first, we need to go get set up. So we're gonna head over into my bedroom and start there. Now I'm in my room, and you can see kind of everything going on around me. So the first thing I'll do whenever I'm getting ready to shoot is set up my tripods and all of that. So I love these tripods. They collapse down really small. They're super good for traveling, but they also get super tall. So they get 6 feet tall, which for any kind of like shot or shooting, like that's way more than you'll probably ever need, to be fair. So I'll set up my tripod, I'll set up my lighting. I also like a really simplified lighting setup, being these little clip-on cell phone lights. They're really bright, and for me personally, I love the way they light me, and then they give this kind of vignette, darker border to all of my shots. So I love to shoot with these lights. I think they're phenomenal. They're also really affordable and great for travel too. I travel a lot for work, so I need a setup that is easy to bring with, break down, take places. Now, I used to film all of my content really straightforward. So I have the newer iPhone, and on the newer iPhone, you can actually get away with shooting using your front camera. And when you use your front camera on the newest phone, that quality is high enough where you're gonna be fine with that. If you have an older phone, you have to use the back camera, otherwise you're not gonna get 1080 HD quality. So what I would do in a normal setup before, and what I still do when it comes to like any simple videos, so like any JOI stuff or like a rating video for a fan, I usually just set my phone up like so. I will add my light, and if it's a JOI or something, a rating light, I'll just use cinematic mode on my phone, and then I'll film it straight through, kind of just like improv the whole thing. But if I'm going for like a more dynamic video, I have a much more advanced setup now that I love to use, so I'll show you that as well, but that's going to be a little bit more intense, so you'll have to bear with me. But for most things that I've shot in my career, I have used my front-facing camera on the latest iPhone, or I've used the back camera on one or multiple phones. It just, when you have different angles like that, it can make the editing process a lot more intense. So I don't think it's necessary all the time either. You can also have one phone and shoot with one phone and get multiple angles. Like, just stop, move the camera, continue filming, stop, move the camera, continue filming. I did that for most of my career, and my content was great. So like you can totally do this with one phone. But for those of you who do have 2 iPhones, I will show you my more recent setup that I'm obsessed with. It requires 2 iPhones and it requires also an iPad. So that is the setup I've used more often lately for really advanced kind of videos. And let me show you what that looks like. For this setup, you'll see I have both of my phones set up behind me and I have my iPad down here. This way I can see it while I'm filming, and then I can see if I'm in frame or not. First things first, when you come in the app, you're gonna go and you're gonna start a new project. And then once this pops open, you're going to click continue. You can name your project if you want. And then you're gonna go to live multicam because this is going to be how you get those camera angles. So then you will go and you will select your devices that you're going to hook up to the camera. And once those are linked, you'll just go ahead and click next and done. And you're gonna see that both of these 2 camera angles are the cameras I have set up right there and right there. So when you have your phones all set, and then when you have them all connected to your iPad, then you can begin filming. So you're gonna hit record here on your iPad, and then you're gonna go perform over there where you just set up. So this is kind of what my setup is like now, and I'll explain exactly why. Direct my, body however I wanted to. I would talk to the cameras, I would work both angles, and do all of the things that you would normally do in terms of your content. And then when you take it over into the app, you're gonna see that you have 2 angles to work with. And the best part about it is that you can angle switch during the editing process and export that timeline as one single timeline. So let me show you exactly what I mean because it's gonna sound really confusing from this aspect, but it's really simple when you actually get into the app and do it yourself. So now I have come over here and I'm going to stop recording, and then you're gonna see exactly how this looks when you bring it into your timeline. The files are gonna slowly transfer over to your app. Once it looks like this, you can actually grab the file and drag it into your timeline. And this is kind of like where all the magic starts to happen. So you can see if you scrub this timeline, you're gonna see both of the angles of what you just shot playing over here. And now if you click this and you drag it into your timeline, you're gonna be able to edit it really, really effectively. Now how this works is you click this button down here that says multicam, and then it's gonna open up those angles that you shot and make this editing process very, very simple. So what you would do is you would kind of scrub through your footage until you got to a place that you wanted to cut with, and then you would press play and you would simply switch back and forth between the angles that you wanted to see when you wanted to see them. So you could switch towards the camera you're looking at, the camera you're talking to, and as you tap these angles, you're actually making cuts inside the video, and that's how this video will play back at the end. So you basically just tap to switch angles that you want in your final edit, and it makes it really, really simplified. Instead of having to line up shots and match them all up, it makes this process a lot easier. So now that I've picked my angles that I want, if I go back and I scrub through, you'll notice the angles that play are actually the angles that I chose when I was tapping the multi-angle at the bottom. So once I'm done with this process and I've chosen all the angles I want to keep for a given video, I'll export this final single timeline, and then I'll take it into CapCut to edit anything else, add any finishing touches, polish it up. But I always start here for the sake of shooting in angle switching, and then I'll take it into CapCut to finalize and edit the video. Because I can't show you any of the naughty filming, I opted to show you this quick time lapse of a rating for a fan. Okay, so just finished filming proper videos, and now I'm going to break down everything and do a whole bunch of editing, because if I don't do it literally right this second, then I won't do it at all. So we film, we clean up a mess, we edit right away. Otherwise, it'll never get done. Here is me wrapping up and putting the finishing touches on my properly filmed video over in CapCut, doing everything to get it ready for distribution. So I feel like that's more or less all of the things in terms of the actual content creation process. I know that turned more into a tutorial than it was supposed to. I'm sorry, I'm an educator, I don't know. And the only thing that wasn't really shown in this vlog is because I showed it a lot in the last vlog, which was the constant messaging of fans all the time. So for example, I have SWCEO open, I have Sex Panther, I have Incentro, I have OnlyFans. They're all just there, always in the background, chirping and, you know, going off while I respond in between all of the other things that I've got going on. So that's gonna pretty much be it for this vlog. I know it wasn't the most exciting, it was just one of the things you guys asked me the most to show you. But what I will say is I'm very excited to have you guys show up next week and see next week's vlog, because next week we are finally gonna reveal and launch the technology product that we have been working so hard on. And I'm really excited to show you what that process has been like up until now, to share all of the challenges. And that vlog has been a long time in the making, so I hope you don't mind this little deviation from our regularly scheduled programming. But I'm really excited to finally have this out in the open, to stop keeping it a secret, and to hopefully provide something that you guys feel like you aren't sure how you lived without. So I'll see you next week, CEO Squad.